I stood frozen in the heart of the living room, the photo frame of my late husband clutched tightly in my trembling hands, when suddenly, my daughter's voice sliced through the heavy silence like a dagger. Now, you stand alone, a widow, mother. The weight of loss hangs heavy in the air, a haunting reminder of what once was. The weight of the world rests upon our shoulders as we declare, the family decisions are ours to make, ours to bear, ours to shape the very fabric of our destiny. I stood paralyzed, my heart pounding in my chest, my fingers clenched fiercely around the wooden frame, a pulse of dread coursing through me as I felt the ominous crack in the glass beneath my thumb, a harbinger of chaos lurking just beneath the surface. With a deliberate slowness, I pivoted to confront her. My daughter, my sweet Emily, stood beside her husband, arms crossed, her gaze icy and unyielding. She stood there, unyielding, as the world around her erupted in chaos. Not a single tremor betrayed her resolve. "What did you just say?" I whispered, my voice trembling, struggling to escape the suffocating knot in my throat. "You heard me," she declared with an icy resolve. "Your time has come to an end. Father has vanished into the abyss. Everything has changed irrevocably." Her husband, Greg, loomed beside her, a silent fortress, offering unwavering support without uttering a single word. He possessed an uncanny ability to strut about, exuding an air of superiority as if he were the undisputed genius among us all. And now, with my husband vanished into the shadows, it appeared he was at last prepared to reveal his true intentions. The breath was ripped from my lungs, a sudden void where life once thrived. Never before had I experienced such a profound sense of rejection, such a chilling feeling of being cast aside. I gripped the photo with a desperate intensity. The man captured in that haunting image, Michael, my husband for a staggering 35 years, gazed back at me with a smile that felt both warm and chilling, a moment forever trapped in time. It was a moment frozen in time, captured on the fateful day of our last anniversary. He whisked me away to that secluded cabin in the mountains, where echoes of our laughter danced through the air, reminding us of our carefree youth. He would have never allowed such a catastrophe to unfold. Never, but he had vanished, leaving only echoes of his presence behind. 6 weeks have passed since he was laid to rest. And now, my daughter, my sole offspring, gazed at me as if I were nothing more than a forgotten relic, an obsolete piece of furniture, stripped of family ties, stripped of motherhood, just a widow, cloaked in shadows of despair, stands at the precipice of her shattered dreams, the echoes of laughter now haunting her every step. Words eluded me, slipping through my fingers like sand, leaving only silence in their wake. My mouth gaped wide, a silent scream trapped within, as the weight of the moment crushed my voice into oblivion. I retreated, my heart pounding, inching back toward the stairs as if the very air around me crackled with tension. "Where are you headed, in this moment of uncertainty?" Emily demanded, her voice slicing through the air like a knife. "To my room," I muttered, the words barely escaping my lips, heavy with the weight of unspoken turmoil. "I beg you, grant me just a fleeting moment." "You don't have a room here anymore," Greg declared, his voice slicing through the air like a knife. I came to a sudden halt. My hand gripped the banister, a lifeline in the tempest of uncertainty. "What did you just utter?" With a heart pounding like thunder, Greg stepped forward, the weight of the moment crashing down around him. "In a bold twist of fate, we have chosen to transform your sanctuary into a dual-purpose haven, an office that cradles the dreams of a nursery. For the time being, you may take refuge in the guest room down in the basement." My vision twisted into a haze of uncertainty. Was it the sting of tears cascading down my cheeks, or the paralyzing grip of disbelief that held me captive? I couldn't tell. That room was a battleground of secrets and whispers, a sanctuary of hidden truths that clawed at the very fabric of reality. It was the very room where I had woven the tapestry of my existence with Michael, each thread a memory, each shadow a whisper of our past. The room, a haunting echo of whispered dreams and tear-stained nights, where shadows danced with our sorrows. It clung to the air like a ghost, whispering secrets of forgotten times. His clothes lingered like ghosts in the shadows. His books whispered secrets of a life once lived. And there, on the nightstand, his watch ticked with a haunting reminder of time frozen in despair. And they sought to obliterate every last trace of it. Who bestowed upon you the audacity to claim such authority? I implored, my voice quaking, escalating with every syllable that escaped my lips. This remains my domain. Emily's eyes darted skyward, a tempest of exasperation brewing within her. Mother, your mind is clouded with confusion. In a twist of fate, the weight of his legacy now rests upon our shoulders, as Dad bequeathed it all to us two siblings bound by blood, yet divided by the shadows of his choices. We confronted the lawyer, the tension thick in the air, secrets hanging like a storm cloud ready to burst. No, I declared with unwavering intensity. He simply would not. He revealed it to me, his voice trembling with the weight of the truth. He said, "People say a lot of things when they're sick," Greg interrupted, his voice slicing through the tension like a knife. "The moment of truth has arrived. This house is now a battleground, a shared domain for the three of us, entwined in a web of secrets and unspoken tensions." Three of us? How could it be? The tension hangs thick in the air, a palpable uncertainty swirling around us, like a storm ready to unleash its fury. What secrets lie beneath this fragile alliance? What destinies intertwine in this precarious moment? The weight of the question looms, echoing in the silence that follows. My eyes fluttered open, a moment suspended in time. "Are you implying it's the two of you?" He shrugged, the weight of the world resting on his shoulders, as if the very act was a silent scream echoing through the void of despair. Identical echoes of despair. I gazed at Emily, my heart pounding, yearning for just a glimmer of the daughter I once knew, the one I had nurtured with love and hope. Yet, she averted her gaze, as if the weight of the world hung between us, an unspoken tension crackling in the air. And in that moment, clarity struck like lightning. Something was terribly, irrevocably wrong, utterly catastrophic. Silence enveloped the room, heavy and suffocating. I held my breath, the weight of unspoken words hanging in the air like a storm about to break. Not a single syllable escaped my lips. I ascended the stairs, each step a deliberate act of defiance, as if fleeing from an inferno, oblivious to the fate that awaited me beyond the threshold. Inside my room, I slammed the door shut, sealing myself away from the chaos outside. And I wept, the tears cascading down my cheeks like a torrential storm, each drop a testament to the anguish that consumed my very soul. Not the kind that shatters the silence with a deafening roar. The kind where your entire being trembles in silence, and the tears cascade onto a pillow that offers no solace. I remained in that haunting stillness, until the darkness of night enveloped me. But then, the world shifted, and everything changed in an instant. A sudden jolt of urgency seized me, propelling me upright in an instant. Something was dreadfully amiss. They were relentless in their attempts to cast me aside, as if I were nothing more than a shadow in their grand design. They craved not merely space, but an iron grip, an absolute dominion, and then it struck me like a bolt from the blue. The chilling revelation of Michael's will sent shockwaves through the room. As secrets long buried clawed their way to the surface, threatening to unravel everything. The unaltered manuscript. Oh, the lawyer we both trusted, Mr. Harris. How could he betray us so? The very foundation of our hopes crumbling beneath the weight of his deceit. He whispered to me, his voice laced with urgency, that an official reading was to unfold, a moment teetering on the edge of revelation. Yet, it remained an unfulfilled promise, a haunting echo of what could have been, Emily declared, with a fierce intensity, that they had handled it all on their own, and I fell into her web of deceit, for grief has a way of blinding the heart to the truth. But now, the air crackles with tension, and the shadows loom larger than ever before, as the weight of the moment hangs heavy in the silence. I rose from my seat, my heart pounding as I wiped the sweat from my brow, and with a heavy breath, I approached the closet, each step echoing with anticipation. Michael was not reckless. He meticulously scattered clues, as he always had. Concealed within the tattered folds of his ancient jacket lay a small safe, a secret waiting to be unveiled, shrouded in mystery and intrigue. Concealed in the shadows of tattered garments and a forgotten box of memories, the photo albums lay in wait. Since the moment he drew his last breath, I had not dared to lay a finger on it. I sank to my knees, heart racing like a drum, and grasped the knob with trembling fingers. 14 to 2036. Our wedding date looms on the horizon, a moment steeped in anticipation and fervour. It clicked like the sudden snap of a fragile thread, unravelling the very fabric of reality. Within the confines of the dimly lit room lay a leather envelope, its edges worn and weary, sealed with a red wax stamp that whispered of secrets long kept, now faded and fragile, as if time itself had conspired to obscure its once vibrant hue. My hands trembled violently as I extracted it from its hiding place. With trembling hands I dared to unveil it, and what I witnessed sent me crashing down, unceremoniously, onto the cold, unforgiving floor. The will was a treacherous facade, a deceit cloaked in shadows. Michael had abandoned the house, leaving it all in my trembling hands. All alone, in the suffocating silence of despair. It is not a deal to be shared. Not us three. Oh, the audacity of fate. How could it be? The very thought sends shivers down the spine. We are bound by a thread of destiny, yet here we stand, defiant against the tide. What cruel twist of the universe has brought us to this precipice? Not us three, not now, not ever alone, in the silence of my own existence. Every asset, every right, every decision, each one, was a piece of my dominion, a testament to my unyielding power. At the very bottom, bold and undeniable, lay his signature, a chilling testament to his presence. And behold, the unmistakable mark of Mr. Harris, the witness, forever etched in the annals of this unfolding tale. My breath hitched, each gasp a desperate plea for air. They deceived us all. In a twist of fate, they had crafted a will that defied all expectations. Or concealed this one. Little did I realize, the truth loomed like a dark shadow. Everything was a lie. Every last fragment of it. I was the one who deserved it all along. And they were plotting to obliterate my very existence. A sudden, jarring knock echoed through the silence, slicing through the air like a knife. Mother! It was Emily. The name echoed through the air, a haunting whisper that sent shivers down spines and ignited a firestorm of emotions. Who could have imagined? The very thought of her presence sent shockwaves through the room, unravelling secrets long buried and igniting a tempest of chaos. Emily, she was back, and nothing would. Her voice, once a tempest of emotions, now dripped with an eerie calmness that sent shivers down the spine. Are you truly okay? We must speak once more. The urgency of our words hangs in the air like a storm waiting to break. With a heart pounding like a drum, I hastily shoved the original will into the depths of a drawer, hidden beneath a tangle of forgotten scarves. It was sealed away, never to be opened again. Then, they stood, a moment suspended in time, the air thick with tension and unspoken words. With trembling hands, I turned the handle and pushed the door open, the creak echoing like a haunting whisper in the stillness. Indeed, I proclaimed, struggling to conceal the quiver in my fingers from her piercing gaze. We were contemplating, she began, her voice trembling with the weight of unspoken truths. Her tone shifted, dripping with an unexpected sweetness. Perhaps your joy lies within the walls of that new retirement haven, where the sun sets on a different chapter of life. The one, shrouded in mystery, lurking near the lake. My eyes fluttered open, a moment suspended in time, as reality crashed down around me. Are you truly suggesting that you wish to cast me aside? Greg emerged from the shadows, a figure cloaked in mystery, his presence sending a shiver down her spine. It's not what you think. You would find yourself surrounded, engulfed in a whirlwind of activities, each moment pulsating with life and energy. We believed you would adore it. My stomach twisted in a tumultuous upheaval. They were dragging me down into the depths of despair, the basement looming like a dark abyss ready to swallow me whole. They conspired to erase my very existence. They craved my disappearance, plotting in the shadows, their intentions dark and twisted, and they believed I would simply acquiesce. Yet, amidst the chaos, I found the strength to smile. Just a whisper. Barely there, for in that moment, the veil was lifted, and the truth crashed down upon me like a thunderous storm, leaving no room for doubt or denial. And there it was, the damning paper that could shatter their fragile scheme into a million pieces. "Let me sleep on it," I whispered, my voice barely breaking the heavy silence that hung in the air. Emily's face ignited with a sudden, blinding light. "Is that truly the case?" Indeed, I nodded, a silent agreement hanging heavy in the air. In the depths of contemplation, a thought stirs within me. All I crave is a moment of peace, a chance to escape the chaos that surrounds me. Tomorrow, the fateful hour will arrive when we shall speak once more, the air thick with anticipation and unspoken words. They smiled, a glimmer of secrets dancing in their eyes, as if the world around them had faded into a mere backdrop for the unfolding drama of their lives. And then, in a moment that felt like an eternity, they vanished into the shadows. But what they were utterly oblivious to. Tomorrow, I shall confront Mr. Harris. In the presence of the original will, a storm brews, secrets poised to unravel, and destinies hang in the balance. And I would ignite a blaze to consume every deceit they constructed. But just as I slammed the door shut once more, from the depths below, Greg's voice echoed, a haunting whisper that sent shivers down my spine. Despair looms heavy, a shadow that suffocates the very essence of hope. Fury ignites within, a tempest of rage swirling uncontrollably, ready to unleash its wrath upon the unsuspecting world. We must accelerate our pace, for time is slipping through our fingers. If she uncovers that cursed will, it's all over for us. My breath was stolen away. Whispers of doubt hung in the air, a chilling breeze of suspicion creeping into their minds. Whispers filled the air, a sinister plot brewing in the shadows. They were plotting something, and the tension crackled like electricity, foreboding and dark. Perhaps it is far more dire than I ever imagined, and in that moment, safety slipped through my fingers like sand, leaving me exposed to the chaos that loomed ahead. I lay awake, the shadows of the night closing in, tormenting me with their relentless whispers. Sleep eluded me, a cruel spectre dancing just beyond my reach. Every creak, every whisper, every echo in the house hung heavy in the air, a symphony of suspense that sent shivers down the spine. Every creak echoed through the silence, a haunting reminder of the secrets lurking in the shadows. Every muffled voice clawed at the edges of my sanity, refusing to let me slip into the embrace of sleep. As I reclined upon the unforgiving surface, the weight of the world pressed down upon me. Gazing up at the ceiling, a world of thoughts swirling in the shadows above. Struggling to find clarity amidst the chaos, I possessed the true will, a force that surged within me, unyielding and fierce. That was everything, but Greg's words reverberated through the corridors of my mind, haunting me with their chilling resonance. If she uncovers that cursed will, our fate is sealed. It is finished. With what, I ask, my heart racing, the air thick with tension, as uncertainty looms like a dark cloud overhead. What had they done, truly? The weight of the question hung in the air, thick with tension and uncertainty. This was a battle for the very soul of the house itself. A storm was brewing, something far more colossal was unfolding in the shadows, and I was thrust into the chaos of uncertainty, desperate to unravel the truth that lay before me. Swift as a lightning bolt, racing through the shadows of time. Every step I took was laced with trepidation, a delicate dance on the edge of a razor. I had to be careful. Little did they realize, the truth simmered just beneath the surface, waiting for the perfect moment to erupt. I had to keep my secret, hidden in the shadows, for now, as the first light of dawn broke, I stood poised, clad and prepared for the unfolding drama of the day. With trembling hands, I slipped the original will into the depths of my purse, a secret that could shatter lives and alter destinies forever. It was sealed tight, a promise of secrecy locked away within its confines. And with a swift motion, I yanked my coat around me, as if bracing against the storm that loomed ahead. My hands trembled violently as I descended the staircase, each step echoing the dread that consumed me. Emily stood in the kitchen, her hands trembling as she poured the dark liquid into the cup, the steam rising like whispers of secrets yet to be revealed. Whispers of a haunting melody fill the air, a gentle hum that dances on the edge of silence. Greg sat at the table, a storm brewing within him, the weight of unspoken words hanging in the air like a thick fog. His eyes darted around, searching for answers in the shadows, as tension crackled like electricity. The silence was deafening, each tick of the clock echoing the turmoil in his heart. His fingers danced across the screen, a tempest of emotions swirling within as he scrolled through the abyss of his phone. He appeared as though the night had stolen his rest, shadows clinging to his eyes like dark secrets waiting to be revealed. "Good morning," I declared, my voice slicing through the silence like a knife, a feeble attempt at a smile, barely breaking through the storm of despair. In a moment that seemed to stretch into eternity, their eyes met the ceiling, disbelief etched across their faces. "You're up early," Emily exclaimed, her voice laced with surprise and intrigue. "Text I thought I'd take a walk," I replied, my voice dripping with nonchalance, masking the storm brewing within. "Release the chaos within my mind." Greg's eyes narrowed, a storm brewing within them. "To what dark destination shall we venture next?" I shrugged, a gesture heavy with unspoken words and the weight of 1,000 unshed tears, merely lurking in the shadows of the neighbourhood. Perhaps seize a muffin from that bakery that Michael adored. Emily's smile pierced the air, a fleeting moment of light in a world shrouded in shadows. Yet, her smile was a mere facade, a hollow curve that failed to ignite the depths of her gaze. "Oh, how delightful that sounds." "Text I won't be long," I declared, my voice trembling with urgency, the weight of my promise hanging in the air like a storm about to break. "Take your phone," Greg commanded, his gaze piercing through me like a dagger. Without a doubt, I emerged into the biting embrace of the morning air, a shiver racing down my spine as the world around me held its breath, and strode purposefully down the street, each step echoing with urgency and unspoken tension. My heart thundered, each step echoing like a drumbeat of impending doom. In a twist of fate, I found myself standing at the crossroads of temptation, yet I chose to turn away from the bakery's siren call. As I rounded the corner, the air thickened with tension, and the world seemed to hold its breath, waiting for what would unfold next. 2 streets were crossed, a daring act in the shadows of the city, where every step could lead to the unknown, and summoned a cab to the ominous doors of Mr. Harris's office. It had been an eternity since I last uttered a word to him, the silence stretching like a chasm since that fateful day at the funeral. Yet, deep within my soul, I was certain he would come to my aid. He was a long-lost friend of Michael's, a ghost from the shadows of the past, lurking just beyond the edge of memory. Someone we believed in, shattered our faith. As I stepped through the door, his assistant's eyes widened in disbelief, a gasp escaping her lips as the reality of my presence sank in. "Mrs. Dalton? I must see Mr. Harris," I implored, my voice trembling with desperation. Her eyes darted to the clock, a pulse of anxiety thrumming in her chest as the seconds ticked away, each one echoing like a countdown to an inevitable confrontation. He burst through the door, a storm of tension trailing in his wake. Just one fleeting moment, she vanished into the shadows, and mere moments later, Mr. Harris emerged, a storm brewing in his eyes. He appeared aged, a shadow of the vibrant figure etched in my memory, greyer, dragging through the shadows of time. Yet, within the depths of his gaze, there lingered a piercing kindness that I recognized all too vividly. "Anna," he uttered, his voice laced with worry, a storm brewing in his eyes. "Is everything truly all right?" I nodded, a swift motion that felt like a silent agreement in the midst of chaos. "We must talk this very moment," Time is of the essence. He ushered me into his office, the door slamming shut behind us with a finality that sent a shiver down my spine. With trembling hands, I unzipped my purse, revealing the dark depths within, and there it was, the leather envelope, ominous and heavy with secrets, waiting to be unleashed. I placed the will before him, a silent storm brewing in the air between us. He read it with a heavy heart, each word a dagger piercing the silence. Then he sank into his seat, utterly bewildered. This is a revelation that will leave you breathless, a twist in the tale that shatters the very fabric of reality. The air thickens with tension, and the shadows whisper secrets that could change everything. Hold your breath, for what comes next is nothing short of explosive. This is the original, he whispered, his voice trembling with a mix of reverence and dread. Behold, the true testament of Michael's final wishes, the very one he inscribed within the confines of my office. I nodded, the weight of the moment crashing down like a thunderclap in the silence. But why, oh why, did Emily and Greg proclaim to us all that he had departed from the house? His brow furrowed in a tempest of discontent. For in the shadows, a sinister hand crafted a new one, a deception lurking beneath the surface. In the wake of his untimely demise, my blood turned to ice. Are you truly suggesting that? They orchestrated a deceitful charade, fabricating a will that would shatter lives and unravel destinies. He nodded, each movement heavy with unspoken weight, as if the very air crackled with tension. It appears to be so. And that, my friend, is a grave transgression that shakes the very foundations of justice. But little did they know, this one still lingered in the shadows, waiting to be uncovered. They're plotting my demise, I whispered, the weight of betrayal heavy in the air. They plot to cast me away to a forsaken retirement home, a prison for the forgotten. My belongings have been unceremoniously stripped from my room, leaving nothing but echoes of what once was. That house is a trap, a sinister lair where danger lurks in every shadow. You must leave, for without protection, you are but a pawn in a game far beyond your understanding. I'm not leaving, I declared, my voice echoing with unwavering resolve. This is my sanctuary, my fortress, the very ground upon which my heart beats and my soul cries out for recognition. We must act swiftly, he declared, urgency lacing his voice. Grant me but a single day to submit the fateful documents. This will stand as an unyielding testament, a binding decree of fate itself. With unwavering resolve, I shall thrust my challenge into the heart of probate court, exposing the charade of the counterfeit document they dare to wield. Will they face the cold, unforgiving bars of justice? I demanded. Perhaps. Everything hangs in the balance, teetering on the edge of the court's revelation. But for now, you must don the mask of normalcy, pretending as if the world around you remains untouched by the tempest of change. Allow them to believe you remain shrouded in shadows. I nodded, the weight of the moment crashing down upon me like a tidal wave of realization. I can do that. His hand shot across the desk, a jolt of electricity as it made contact with mine. Anna. Oh, how the weight of my words crushes me. I am so deeply, profoundly sorry. Michael placed his unwavering trust in you, believing you would rise to the occasion and continue the legacy. And you are indeed doing just that, with all the fervour of a storm brewing on the horizon. I forced a smile, fragile and trembling, as if it might shatter at any moment. Oh, how I long for his presence. A void that echoes in the silence of my heart. He nodded, a silent agreement hanging heavy in the air, as if the weight of unspoken words threatened to shatter the fragile moment. I exited his office, a tempest of fear and power swirling within me, each step echoing the tumultuous battle of emotions raging in my heart. Truth stood unwaveringly beside me, a fierce ally in the tempest of deception. I was thrust into a battle for my very existence, clinging to the hope that I could endure just a little longer to unleash its power. As I stepped through the threshold, there she was, Emily, standing at the door, her presence electrifying the air with unspoken tension. You were gone a while, she said, her voice trembling with unspoken fears. As I came to a halt by the shimmering lake, I uttered my response, the weight of the moment hanging thick in the air. Time was a desperate necessity, a haunting echo in the silence of my mind. Her gaze pierced through me, dissecting every emotion etched upon my features. "Did you ponder the weight of our words?" I nodded, the weight of the moment pressing down like a storm cloud ready to unleash its fury. Indeed, could it be? The retirement place, a sanctuary of solace, might just hold the promise of a brighter tomorrow. A glimmer of hope in the twilight of life. What secrets does it conceal? What stories await? The anticipation is palpable. For a fleeting moment suspended in time, just to grant you both the opportunity to mend the nursery. Greg emerged from the shadows, a sinister smile curling on his lips, satisfaction radiating from his very being. "Oh, how utterly astonishing, Anna. Your maturity shines like a beacon in the storm of chaos." I smiled, a flicker of light in the encroaching shadows. "Thank you, from the depths of my soul, where gratitude swells like a tempestuous tide, crashing against the shores of my heart. As the night descends, I will begin the haunting task of packing away fragments of my life." Emily's smile radiated like a beacon in the darkness. "Oh, you will absolutely adore it there, Mom." In a world where laughter echoes through the halls, they gather for electrifying bingo nights and unleash their creativity in captivating art classes. Perhaps fate will conspire to bring a stranger into your life, igniting a spark that could change everything. I let out a soft, almost haunting laugh. Perhaps. Just perhaps. Yet within me, a tempest raged. That fateful night, I crept through the shadows of the house, feigning the act of packing, each movement heavy with unspoken tension. With trembling hands, I hastily tossed a handful of clothes into the suitcase, just enough to maintain the facade, the charade that was my life. But I concealed the true documents within the depths of my handbag, a treasure I guarded fiercely, never letting it out of my sight. After dinner, I found myself trapped in the basement guest room, lying wide awake, consumed by the haunting silence, desperately awaiting the arrival of dawn. But as the clock struck midnight, a chilling sound pierced the silence. Footsteps echo ominously in the silence, each one a harbinger of the unknown, a prelude to the unfolding chaos that lurks just beyond the shadows. Above, in the shadowy realm of the upper floor. Then came the whispers, slithering through the air like secrets too dangerous to be spoken aloud. Doors creaking open, revealing the unknown beyond. I jolted upright in the suffocating darkness. They were on a desperate quest, their hearts pounding with urgency, eyes wide with fear and anticipation, as they scoured every shadowy corner, every whispering alley, driven by an unrelenting need to uncover the truth that lay hidden in the darkness. They were on a desperate hunt for the will, a treasure hidden in shadows, secrets lurking in every corner. Little did they know, the prize had already slipped through my fingers and vanished from their sight, hidden away from their unsuspecting eyes. I pressed my ear to the door, heart racing, as the world outside whispered secrets that could shatter everything I thought I knew. "She said she went walking," Emily whispered, her voice trembling with the weight of unspoken secrets. "She's concealing it," Greg spat, his voice laced with urgency. "She's far from foolish. We should have acted with urgency, but now it's too late, and the weight of our hesitation hangs heavy in the air. She's poised to unleash chaos upon it all." I recoiled from the door, my heart racing as I clutched my phone tightly, every nerve in my body on high alert. With trembling hands, I activated the audio recorder, the ominous click echoing in the silence as I began to capture the unfolding chaos. Their voices echoed like thunder, their plans swirling in a tempest of uncertainty. I needed undeniable evidence for the storm that was brewing ahead. Then, like a thunderclap in the stillness, Greg's words pierced the air, sending a chill racing down my spine. "Tomorrow morning, we shall escort her to the home, a fateful journey that looms ahead. And when she departs, we shall purge this place with ruthless precision. Every single thing. Do you truly mean everything?" I shut my eyes, plunging into a darkness that enveloped me like a shroud. They were plotting my very downfall. They conspired in the shadows, plotting my very obliteration, forever etched in the annals of time. And if I failed to act swiftly, their triumph would be inevitable. That night, sleep eluded me once more. I perched on the precipice of the guest bed, my senses heightened, straining to catch the slightest creak from the floor above. My thoughts spiraled into a tempest of dread, conjuring every nightmarish scenario imaginable. Greg's words hung in the air, piercing and undeniable, echoing with a chilling clarity that left no room for doubt. Once she departs, the reckoning begins. The house will be swept clean, and the shadows will tremble in the wake of her absence. All that exists, every single fragment of reality, hangs in the balance. It was never merely about furniture. It was a battleground of emotions, a clash of desires, a tempest brewing beneath the surface, or the dreaded paperwork, or even the gifts I hold dear. It was all about stifling my voice, forever etched in the annals of time. As the first light of dawn broke, a scheme began to take shape in the depths of my mind. I had to escape that house, and it would be on my own terms, no matter the cost. But not before I shielded it all from the impending chaos. Not before I bestowed upon them a revelation that would shatter their very reality. In a whirlwind of urgency, I slipped into my clothes, each movement a hushed whisper of anticipation. With trembling hands, I seized the recorder, my heart racing as I navigated to the private cloud account I had hastily opened just hours before. The weight of the moment hung heavy in the air, a secret waiting to be unleashed. In a moment fraught with tension, I meticulously saved the audio file, a final testament to the truth, and, with a sense of urgency, dispatched a backup copy to Mr. Harris, knowing the weight of what it contained. Do not delete. In a moment of desperation, I penned a brief note, a mere 4 lines, and stealthily tucked it beneath my mattress, as if hiding a dark secret from the world. In that very spot, where Michael once concealed his handwritten letters to me, the echoes of our struggles linger like ghosts in the shadows. If anything were to transpire, I had to ensure that someone bore witness to the unvarnished truth. With a heavy heart, I abandoned my packed suitcase, its contents whispering secrets of journeys untaken, and ascended the stairs, each step echoing with the weight of unspoken farewells. Greg sat in the dim light of the living room, the silence shattered only by the clinking of his coffee cup. His phone buzzed ominously in his hand, a harbinger of the chaos that was about to unfold. His gaze shot up the moment I stepped inside. "Morning," he uttered, his voice a fragile mask of cheerfulness, concealing the storm brewing beneath the surface. "Morning," I whispered, the words barely escaping my lips, heavy with unspoken tension. At long last, I stand on the precipice of destiny, brimming with anticipation. I am ready. His eyebrows shot up, a silent gasp escaping the confines of his lips. Is that truly the case? How astonishingly swift. I offered him a smile, taut and strained, masking the tempest within. I never intended to prolong this torment. Emily burst into the room moments later, her voice dripping with an unsettling cheerfulness that sent shivers down our spines. "I've already made the call to the retirement place. They await your arrival with bated breath. After breakfast, we shall whisk you away, down the winding roads, where secrets linger in the shadows and the air crackles with anticipation." I nodded, the weight of the moment crashing down upon me like a tidal wave, each heartbeat echoing the gravity of my decision. Very well. I allowed them to present me with breakfast, yet the food lay untouched, a silent testament to my turmoil. Toast, a desolate remnant, crumbled like sawdust beneath the weight of despair. The eggs lay heavy, a suffocating weight of despair, cementing themselves in the pit of my stomach, a grim reminder of the chaos within. My eyes flickered to the clock, each tick echoing like a thunderclap in the silence. Mr. Harris awaited my arrival at the stroke of noon, the air thick with anticipation. They believed they had emerged victorious, basking in the glow of their perceived triumph. They believed I was surrendering, but little did they know, the storm was just beginning. Little did they know, the papers had already been filed, sealing their fate in a whirlwind of unforeseen consequences. Little did anyone know, the lawyer held the will, a a secret that could change everything, utterly lost, adrift in a sea of uncertainty. I had dispatched audio evidence to his office, a damning revelation poised to shatter their world into a million irreparable pieces. "Are you ready to bid farewell to your sanctuary?" Emily's voice dripped with sweetness, a stark contrast to the tension that hung in the air as I rose to my feet. My gaze locked onto her, a tempest of emotions swirling within me. It has vanished into the abyss, leaving nothing but echoes of its existence. Her eyes widened, a flicker of uncertainty dancing across her face as she grappled with the haunting question. Was I referring to the room, or was there a deeper, more sinister implication lurking in the shadows? With a sudden jarring motion, Greg seized my suitcase, his grip tight and unyielding, as he strode purposefully toward the car, the weight of unspoken tension hanging in the air. I trailed behind them into the frigid night, the biting wind caressing my skin, a silent harbinger of the storm to come. I found myself trapped in the back seat, a silent observer as they sped through the chaos of life, my heart pounding, eyes wide with disbelief, feeling utterly numb to the world racing past me. We ventured across the highway, our hearts racing, then moved past the lake, a haunting reminder of Sundays spent with Michael, where laughter once echoed in the air. I clutched my purse with a grip that could shatter glass. Emily's eyes pierced through the mirror, a silent storm brewing behind them. "Prepare yourself for an experience that will leave you breathless. You won't believe the wonders that await you there. They all proclaim it's akin to an extravagant escape, a grand adventure waiting to unfold." I nodded, a silent agreement hanging heavy in the air, words trapped in the depths of my throat. We approached the retirement facility, a sprawling cream-coloured edifice looming ominously, encircled by meticulously trimmed hedges and vibrant rose bushes, each petal whispering secrets of the past. It appeared serene, innocuous, but beneath the surface, a tempest brewed, waiting to unleash its fury. Yet, deep within, I was acutely aware of the truth that lay hidden beneath the surface. The receptionist's smile stretched unnaturally, a mask of cheer that concealed something darker beneath. The hallways echoed with an unsettling silence, a chilling sterility that hung in the air like a dark omen. With a sense of urgency, Emily guided me through the dimly lit corridors to my designated room, each step echoing with unspoken tension. Greg, in a stunning twist of fate, chose to remain below, abandoning the ascent that would have changed everything. As the door clicked shut behind us, she lunged forward, wrapping her arms around me in a fierce embrace, catching me completely off guard. "I know this is hard," she declared, her voice trembling with emotion. "But it's better this way." "Better for whom, I ask? Who stands to gain from this twisted game?" The shadows whisper secrets, and the truth hangs heavy in the air, suffocating and elusive. "Better for whom, indeed?" I whispered, my voice barely breaking the silence. She recoiled, her gaze dropping to the ground, heavy with unspoken turmoil. "Prepare yourself for the unexpected revelation that awaits you." And just like that, she vanished into the shadows, leaving behind a silence that screamed of betrayal. With a decisive click, I shut the door behind her, sealing her fate within the confines of that room. The lock turned with a chilling finality. The instant they vanished from sight, I seized my phone and frantically dialed Mr. Harris, my heart racing with urgency. He answered on the very first ring, as if fate itself had orchestrated this moment. "Anna!" With a heart pounding like thunder, I declared, "I'm in." They abandoned me at the edge of despair. He let out a heavy sigh, the weight of the world pressing down on his shoulders. "Excellent! Hear me now, for the truth hangs in the balance. The will has been filed, a silent testament to the storm brewing beneath the surface. As the clock ticks ominously towards the afternoon, I find myself drawn to the courthouse, a place where destinies are forged and secrets unravel. By the break of dawn, the truth will be laid bare for all to see. As I shut my eyes, a wave of relief washed over me, enveloping my very soul in a tempest of emotions. My deepest gratitude to you. But there's something else," he whispered, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial hush. With trembling hands, I delved into the depths of the financial records, each page a harbinger of secrets waiting to be unveiled. Whispers of the past echo through the shadows as dormant accounts, long abandoned by Michael, stir to life once more. In a twist that could shatter trust, Greg has been stealthily siphoning your hard-earned money into a shadowy private business account, all under the unsuspecting name of Emily. My throat constricted, a vice of dread tightening its grip. What? Months ago, they orchestrated this sinister plot, mere moments after Michael's tragic demise. They schemed in the shadows, plotting to seize it all, leaving nothing but desolation in their wake. I clutched the edge of the table, trembling uncontrollably. Is it possible to halt their advance? Indeed, but you must step into the fray and inscribe your name on a few more crucial documents. We will unleash the full force of the law if necessary. All my treasures are secured, every last one of them, locked away in the vault of safety. I'll be there first thing in the morning, I declared, my voice echoing with a weight that hung in the air, a promise laced with urgency and unyielding resolve. I find myself trapped in a relentless storm, desperately seeking an escape from this suffocating chaos. At the break of dawn, a car will arrive, shrouded in silence, ready to whisk you away. I slammed the phone down, my heart racing wildly in my chest. Suddenly, a thunderous knock echoed through the silence, shattering the stillness of the moment. I thrust the phone into my pocket, my heart racing as I creaked the door open, each inch a battle against the tension that hung in the air. It was a nurse clad in white, a harbinger of hope and despair, her presence electrifying the air with unspoken tension. "Mrs. Dalton? What is it? Speak now. Behold, a form awaits your signature, a pivotal moment that could alter the course of fate. In a world where every heartbeat counts, the quest for medical clearance looms like a dark cloud, shrouded in uncertainty and anticipation. Will the verdict be a lifeline or a harbinger of doom? The stakes have never been higher. With a trembling hand, she thrust a clipboard into my grasp, the weight of it heavy with unspoken secrets. I scanned the paper, and a chill gripped my very soul. All medical decisions have been irrevocably handed over to the family representative, Emily Carson, sealing her fate in this critical moment. They were plotting to ensnare me in a web of solitude, a sinister scheme unfolding before my very eyes. They were scheming, plotting, desperate to seize every ounce of power, even over the very essence of my health. I flashed a smile at the nurse, a fleeting moment of warmth amidst the cold, sterile surroundings. Could I possibly seize a moment to scrutinize this with utmost care? Indeed, without a doubt. In just 10 fleeting moments I shall return, like a spectre from the shadows, ready to unveil the next act of this unfolding drama. She vanished into the shadows, leaving nothing but silence in her wake. In a moment of urgency, I captured the image of the form, sealing it away in the depths of my device. In a moment of sheer desperation, I plunged my hand beneath the mattress, hiding it away as if it were a secret too dangerous to be revealed. In that very place, Michael would have concealed it, shrouded in mystery and intrigue. In that moment, clarity struck like a thunderbolt, illuminating the shadows of uncertainty that had cloaked my mind. This was a dagger to the heart, a treachery that cut deeper than any wound. This was nothing short of a brazen act of theft. Deception lurks in the shadows, twisting reality with a sinister grip, a painstaking, deliberate obliteration of who I am. But they dared to underestimate me. At precisely 5:55 a.m. the following morning, I stood at the side entrance of the facility, clutching my purse and documents, my heart ablaze with an intensity that could ignite the dawn. The black car glided in, a shadow among shadows, its presence a chilling whisper in the stillness of the night. With a heart pounding like thunder, I leaped into the fray, instinctively ducking as it roared away, leaving chaos in its wake. At the stroke of 6:20 a.m., I found myself standing before the imposing doors of Mr. Harris's office, the air thick with anticipation. And by the stroke of 8 a.m., we found ourselves standing before the imposing courthouse, the air thick with tension and uncertainty. At precisely 9:42 a.m., the true will emerged from the shadows, confirmed, notarized, and sealed away in the vault of fate. Everything was rightfully mine. bound by the chains of legality. At the stroke of 10 a.m., I put pen to paper, sealing the fate of Greg and Emily as I initiated a formal investigation into their shadowy bank activities. The air was thick with tension, the gravity of my decision hanging like a storm cloud overhead. And by the haunting hour of 10:45 a.m., I found myself retracing my steps back to the house, a sense of foreboding heavy in the air. Yet, I found myself not in solitude. With a court officer by my side and a sheriff looming behind me, the weight of the moment pressed down like a heavy shroud. The house loomed ominously as we crept up the driveway, a silent sentinel shrouded in secrets. Emily stood in the garden, her fingers trembling around the delicate porcelain cup of tea as shadows danced ominously around her. The air was thick with tension, and the world seemed to hold its breath, waiting for the storm to break. Greg stood on the porch, his voice rising in intensity as he spoke into the phone, the weight of his words hanging in the air like a storm about to break. As I emerged from the car, flanked by two imposing officials, I witnessed the very essence of fear wash over their faces, draining them of all colour. With a heart-stopping crash, Emily's cup shattered to the ground, sending shards of porcelain flying like 1,000 tiny daggers, each piece a testament to the moment's chaos. Greg stood there, a statue of disbelief, his lips trembling in a silent gasp. I ascended with a haunting slowness, a spectre they believed was forever entombed. "What on earth is happening?" Greg's voice trembled, caught in a web of uncertainty. The sheriff advanced, a storm brewing in his eyes. "Both of you have been served, and the consequences are about to unfold in ways you never imagined." Dark clouds loom overhead as the chilling words echo in the air. "You are under investigation for probate fraud and financial theft." The weight of suspicion hangs heavy, casting a shadow over your every move. "Leave the property at once. Time is of the essence, and there is no room for hesitation." Emily's breath caught in her throat. "What?" "You lied," I exclaimed, my voice steady yet laced with an undercurrent of betrayal. "In a chilling twist of fate, you dared to forge a will. You dared to pilfer from my husband's accounts, and in a twisted turn of fate, you sought to imprison me." Greg's face ignited with a furious crimson, a storm brewing within him. "Proof? You dare to question the very foundation of truth. Where is your evidence, your shield against the storm of doubt? Without it, your claims crumble like dust in the wind." "I possess it all," I declared, my voice trembling with the weight of the revelation, the true testament of fate. The chilling audio recording echoed through the silence, a haunting reminder of secrets long buried and truths waiting to be unveiled. The treacherous deception of the forged medical forms, and a lawyer, relentless in his pursuit, never faltering in the face of duty. Emily collapsed, her sobs echoing through the room like thunder, each tear a testament to her shattered heart. "Mum, I beg you. You dared to label me merely a widow," I exclaimed, my voice trembling with a mix of fury and despair. But I was so much more than just a wife. I was his partner, bound by fate and secrets that twisted our lives into a tangled web of betrayal and desire. And now, I am the echo of his soul, the whisper that carries his truth into the tempest of silence. She collapsed to the ground, tears streaming down her face, her heart shattered into a million pieces. Greg's desperate pleas fell on deaf ears as the officers, like looming shadows, interposed themselves between us, sealing our fates in a moment thick with tension. They had lost, and the weight of defeat hung heavy in the air, a palpable tension that crackled like electricity. The echoes of their failure reverberated through the silence, each heartbeat a reminder of what could have been. Despair clawed at their throats, a bitter taste of dreams shattered and hopes extinguished. In that moment, at long last, I had seized what was rightfully mine, reclaiming it from the shadows of despair. Greg's voice crescendoed behind me, a tempest of fury, as the sheriff delivered the damning official notice into his trembling hands. "This is absolutely ridiculous," he bellowed, his face flushed with sheer panic. "She's weaving a tale of deception. That will is nothing but a cruel illusion, a phantom of desire that dances just out of reach. We were desperately trying to save her." Emily lay there, crumpled on the ground, her sobs echoing through the silence as she buried her face in her trembling hands. She appeared diminutive, a mere shadow of her former self. How stark the contrast from the bold, scornful daughter who faced me merely 2 days prior. I averted my gaze from their piercing stares and cast my eyes upon the looming house, its shadow stretching ominously before me. The very walls that cradle my existence. Michael's house loomed ominously, its shadows stretching like dark fingers across the ground, whispering secrets of the past and foreboding what was to come. Our memories clung to every wall, every photo frame, every creaky floorboard, haunting the very air we breathed, and they had desperately sought to erase that from existence. But that time has come to an end. The court officer loomed beside me, a shadow of authority in the tense atmosphere. "Mum, shall we escort you inside, or shall we leave you to face the shadows alone?" I nodded, a silent agreement hanging in the air, thick with unspoken tension. We encountered Greg, his movements frantic and restless, like a wild beast trapped in a confining cage, and there was Emily, frozen in place on the porch steps, a statue of despair. As I stepped through the front door, it was as if I had crossed the threshold into a war-torn landscape, the echoes of a fierce battle still lingering in the air, a haunting reminder of the struggle that had unfolded. But this was far from the end. Inside, the living room lay in chaotic disarray, a battlefield of forgotten moments and shattered tranquility. My photo frames vanished from the mantel, leaving behind an eerie silence that echoed through the room. Family portraits, once the heart of our home, had been usurped by abstract art that twisted my very understanding of reality. Even the rug had transformed, a stark reminder of the chaos that had unfolded. Gone was the warm, soft treasure Michael and I had discovered in Spain, now cruelly supplanted by a stark, cold modernity that chilled the very air around us. The officer's gaze pierced through the tension, locking onto my expression with an intensity that sent shivers down my spine. Shall we plunge into the tumultuous task of chronicling the property changes that lie ahead? Indeed, I breathed the words, barely audible, as if the very air around us held its breath in anticipation. All that exists, every single thing. I ascended the stairs with agonizing slowness, each step sending a jolt of pain through my chest, a relentless reminder of the weight I carried. As I stepped into the threshold of my old bedroom, our bedroom, a wave of disbelief crashed over me. It was almost unrecognizable, transformed beyond my wildest imagination. The bed lay bare, its sheets torn away, revealing the starkness of the unforgiving mattress beneath, a silent witness to the chaos that had unfolded. My curtains had vanished into thin air, leaving behind an unsettling void that whispered secrets of betrayal and despair. Boxes loomed ominously along the walls, each one a silent sentinel of secrets untold. I pried open one of the boxes, and there they were, my clothes, crumpled and tossed aside, as if they were nothing but a burden to be discarded in haste. At the bottom, I stumbled upon Michael's blue sweater, the very one he donned on that fateful last anniversary, a haunting reminder of what once was. I pressed it to my face, inhaling deeply, though his scent had long since vanished into the ether. Before I could even brace myself, the tears cascaded down, unstoppable and raw. I wasn't crying out of sorrow's grasp. Tears streamed down my face, a torrent of emotion unleashed as the reality of my victory crashed over me like a tidal wave. My world shattered as I faced the unbearable truth. I had lost my husband. Yet, amidst the chaos, my dignity remained unscathed, and I stood there, breathless, realizing I had not lost my home after all. The court officer rapped softly, a haunting prelude to the storm that was about to unfold. All major changes have been meticulously recorded, each one a pivotal moment etched in time. They shall find themselves entangled in the web of the fraud investigation. Do you desire their expulsion from the premises? No, I said, my voice echoing with defiance, standing tall against the tempest of doubt swirling around me. Let it go. It is I who will determine the fate of all that remains, and all that shall be cast aside. I descended the stairs, only to be met by the haunting sight of Emily in the hallway. She stood there, arms clutched around her trembling frame, her eyes swollen and red, mascara cascading down her cheeks like dark rivers of despair. "Mom," she uttered, her voice trembling with uncontainable emotion. "Oh, please, we never intended to cause you pain. We believed, in the wake of Dad's passing, your mind was a tempest, swirling with confusion and despair. We could no longer bear the torment of anticipation." "Wait for what, you ask?" The air thickens with tension, as uncertainty looms like a storm cloud ready to unleash its fury. What could possibly be worth this agonizing pause? The clock ticks, each second stretching into eternity, leaving hearts racing and minds racing faster. What revelation lies just beyond the horizon, waiting to shatter the silence I demanded, my voice trembling with urgency, to slip into the shadows without a sound? "No," she whispered, her voice trembling with a weight that hung in the air like a storm about to break. "It's simply—" Greg's voice trembled with urgency as he warned us. If we didn't spring into action immediately, the house would slip through our fingers, swallowed by taxes or some other absurd fate. He declared, with a gravity that hung in the air, that it was far more advantageous for everything to be under our name. He promised you would be protected, but the shadows whisper otherwise. "And you actually believed him?" I demanded. Fear gripped her heart, and she confessed it with trembling lips. Our lives were consumed by an avalanche of bills, each one a relentless reminder of our financial despair. Once more, the news strikes like thunder in the stillness of my life. I am pregnant again. In that moment of despair, uncertainty gripped my heart like a vice. I was paralyzed, lost in a whirlwind of chaos, with no clear path ahead. My gaze locked onto her, a tempest of emotions swirling within me. In a fleeting moment, I caught a glimpse of the little girl, the one who would race to my side, trembling with fear from her nightmares, the one who once declared me her closest confidant. But that innocent little girl had vanished into thin air. And there she was, the woman before me, a silent witness to the betrayal, as her husband callously shoved me from the very sanctuary I once called home. "I would have given you everything," I whispered, my voice trembling with unspoken anguish. "But you dared to seize it with brute strength. How could she betray her own blood like this? This is not the path a daughter should tread." "I know," she cried, her voice trembling with raw emotion. "I've made a grave mistake. We have plunged into chaos. But you must grasp this. Greg was utterly oblivious to the depths of despair that awaited him. All we ever desired was to embark on our journey of life, to construct a masterpiece from the ashes of ambition. So, you dared to shatter my world," I demanded to know. Her gaze fell, silence enveloping the air like a heavy shroud, the unspoken words hanging between them, thick with tension. Greg burst through the door, a tempest of rage swirling around him. "Beware of her crocodile tears, Anna. They are but a facade, a veil of deception hiding the truth beneath. Oh, the depths of her emotions. They swirl like a tempest, unpredictable and fierce. We must confront this head-on, as equals, with the weight of our words hanging in the air." "No," I declared with unwavering resolve, locking eyes with him. "This is not a mere discussion. It is a confrontation, a clash of wills that cannot be ignored. The stakes have risen. This is now a matter of law. In a twisted turn of fate, you dared to forge a will. You conspired in the shadows, shifting funds without my knowledge. The shadows loom, and the whispers grow louder. You're under investigation." His face contorted into a malevolent sneer, a harbinger of the chaos to come. "Do you truly believe the court will side with your feeble claims over the weight of my truth?" "They don't have to," I declared, my fingers trembling as I yanked my phone from my pocket, the air thick with tension. "They possess the audio recording, a damning piece of evidence that could unravel everything." He stood there, paralyzed, as the weight of the moment crashed down upon him. "What?" You and Emily huddled together, voices low, plotting a swift escape from the clutches of time. In the dim light of a cluttered room, shadows danced ominously as dust motes swirled in the air. The air was thick with the weight of neglect, each corner whispering secrets of forgotten days. A battle loomed on the horizon, a fierce struggle against the chaos that threatened to consume every inch of the space. With determination, oh, the chaos that would ensue if I were to uncover the will. The very fabric of our lives would unravel, and I would stand at the center of the storm, a harbinger of destruction. Everything I touch would turn to ash, and the consequences would be nothing short of catastrophic. It was captured, every moment etched in time, and my lawyer possesses it, a secret wrapped in shadows, waiting to unravel the truth. In that fleeting instant, Greg's body seized, rigid as if chiseled from the very heart of a mountain, unyielding and cold. In a whirlwind of rage, he spun toward Emily, his fury palpable in the air. In a moment fraught with tension, you declared to her that trust would bind us, a promise hanging in the air like a fragile thread, ready to snap at the slightest tremor. Little did I know, she had captured it all, her voice piercing the air with a blood-curdling scream. "Leave this place," I commanded with a chilling calmness that hung in the air like a storm waiting to break. "What?" In a tense standoff, the clock ticks mercilessly. You have a mere 5 minutes to seize what is rightfully yours and vanish into the shadows. Next, you shall await the moment when your lawyers take center stage to voice your fate. Until that fateful moment arrives, this house belongs to me and me alone. Greg's expression twisted, a storm brewing behind his eyes, as if the very air crackled with the tension of an impending clash. Yet, there was an undeniable force in my gaze that seemed to freeze him in place. In a whirlwind of fury, he spun on his heel and charged up the stairs, determination etched on his face as he prepared to pack his life away. Emily's gaze pierced through the air, her eyes a tempest of regret swirling in a storm of unspoken words. Will I ever find a place in this realm once more? The silence stretched on, an agonizing eternity, as I stood frozen in that moment, trapped in a web of unspoken thoughts. In that moment, uncertainty gripped me, and I uttered the words with raw honesty. "I don't know." With a heavy heart, she nodded slowly, the weight of unspoken words hanging in the air before turning and walking away into the shadows. The court officer stood ominously by the door, a silent sentinel, as they frantically gathered their belongings, the weight of the moment hanging heavy in the air. 1 hour later, they vanished into thin air. Silence enveloped the house once more, a heavy shroud of stillness that whispered secrets of the past. I found myself frozen in the heart of the living room, my hands clasped tightly before me, a storm of emotions swirling within. And I wept, tears cascading down my cheeks like a torrential storm, each drop a testament to the anguish that consumed my very soul. But this time, it was not born from sorrow, but from an unyielding power. Michael had placed his unwavering trust in me to continue the legacy. And there I stood, the weight of my actions crashing down upon me like a tidal wave, for I had done it. I stood, a solitary figure, facing the dark forces of betrayal, manipulation, and insatiable greed. And I had seized my rightful throne, not merely as a widow, but as a formidable woman, brimming with power, driven by purpose, and armed with a voice that could shatter silence. A gentle rap echoed through the stillness, a harbinger of uncertainty lurking just beyond the threshold. With trembling hands, I peeled back the cover, each inch revealing the unknown lurking within. It was none other than Mr. Harris. "I thought I'd stop by," he declared, his voice laced with an unsettling warmth, "merely to ascertain your well-being." A smile crept across my face, a flicker of light in the shadows of uncertainty. "At long last I stand here, a phoenix rising from the ashes, better than I have been in weeks." He crossed the threshold, his gaze sweeping the room with a mix of curiosity and trepidation, before nodding slowly, as if acknowledging an unspoken truth lurking in the shadows. "Excellent. What you have done, Anna, is something that eludes the grasp of most souls. A feat so rare, it sends shivers down the spine of the ordinary. You rose defiantly against your own kin, and you emerged victorious." I cast my gaze around the house, the air thick with tension and unspoken secrets. The very house that Michael and I painstakingly constructed together, brick by agonizing brick, stands as a haunting testament to our shared dreams and shattered promises. And in that moment, a thunderous revelation struck me. It was time to reclaim what was rightfully mine once more, not merely by the letter of the law, but by the very essence that stirs the soul. It was a moment charged with anticipation, a revelation that hung in the air like a storm cloud ready to burst. "I think it's time to redecorate," I declared, my voice trembling with the weight of change. He let out a chilling laugh, echoing through the silence like a thunderclap, shattering the tension in the air. "Do you find yourself in need of assistance?" "Perhaps." A smile danced upon my lips. "But this time, it will be on my terms, and the world will tremble at my decree." As we huddled together in the dimly lit kitchen, the steam from our tea swirling like whispers of secrets, I cast my gaze out the window. There, a dramatic spectacle unfolded: the sun, a fiery orb, clawing its way through the oppressive clouds, illuminating the world with a fierce golden light. It was as if the pages of fate had turned, unveiling a dramatic new chapter, fraught with tension and anticipation. But deep down, I felt the storm was far from finished. Not until the gavel fell and the court delivered its fateful decree. Not until the money was snatched back from the clutches of despair. Not until I had ensured that no soul would dare to stifle my voice ever again. 3 weeks slipped away, cloaked in silence and tension. 3 agonizing weeks stretched on, filled with a deafening silence, endless paperwork, and the torment of waiting. The house, once a hollow shell, began to pulse with life, transforming into a sanctuary of warmth and belonging once more. With trembling hands, I hung Michael's old photos back on the walls, each frame a haunting reminder of laughter and love. I carefully returned our cherished books to the living room shelves, their spines whispering secrets of the past. And from the depths of storage, I retrieved the soft Spanish rug, its fibers a comforting embrace in the midst of chaos. I even lit the lavender candle, the very one he always claimed filled the air with the scent of tranquility, a bittersweet reminder of what once was. Yet, beneath that facade of tranquility, I found myself in a relentless grip of anticipation, yearning for the court's ultimate decree. In a twist of fate, Greg and Emily found themselves entangled in a web of legal battles, each having summoned their own fierce attorneys to the fray, those that come with a staggering price tag. They schemed and plotted, weaving a web of deception, attempting to undermine my very sanity in the courtroom's glaring spotlight. But Mr. Harris was not just ready. He was armed with secrets that would unravel the very fabric of their reality. He possessed the original will, a document that held the power to unravel destinies and ignite a tempest of betrayal. He possessed the voice recordings, a treasure trove of secrets waiting to be unleashed. He possessed bank statements revealing transfers that Greg had no right to touch. And in that fateful moment, when Emily's signature graced the forged legal documents granting her dominion over my very healthcare, the battle was lost. The judge's gavel fell with a thunderous finality, the air thick with tension as the verdict was delivered in a heartbeat. The will was undeniably real. The documents, a web of deceit, were nothing short of criminal. In a chilling twist of fate, Greg and Emily found themselves ensnared in a web of deceit, under the unforgiving gaze of investigators probing their dark dealings of fraud, coercion, and the sinister attempt to exploit an elder's trust for financial gain. The instant the gavel crashed against the desk, echoing through the tense silence, and the judge's voice thundered the words, "Full restoration of ownership," a surge of liberation coursed through my veins, shattering the chains that bound me, something that had been coiled in a relentless grip for months, ready to snap at any moment. I had reclaimed my power, not merely in a legal sense, but with a ferocity that shook the very foundations of my existence. I was unshackled, liberated from the chains that bound me, unshackled from their deceit, unshackled from the burden of feigning ignorance to their dark deeds. At last, the chains of sorrow have shattered, allowing the heart to mourn Michael in the sacred silence of solitude. Back at home that night, I lingered in the doorway of what was once our sanctuary, a haunting reminder of love now lost. For an entire week, I toiled, transforming its gentle cream into a fresh canvas, draping new curtains that Michael had always insisted would bathe the morning light in a breathtaking golden glow. I sank onto the bed, my gaze locked onto the sweater, its fabric folded with eerie precision at the foot, a haunting reminder of his presence. With trembling hands, I grasped it tightly, pressing it against my heart, as if it were the very essence of my soul. "I did it, Michael," I whispered, my voice trembling with the weight of the revelation. They conspired to shatter my very essence. They were on the brink, teetering on the edge of an unimaginable fate. Yet, amidst the chaos, a flicker of recognition ignited within me. I remembered who I was. And I had. Oh. The weight of that revelation crashed upon me like a tempest, stirring the very depths of my soul. In that haunting moment, the truth crashed over me like a tidal wave. I was not merely a widow. Once, I held the title of mother. A wife, bound by love yet shackled by secrets. A warrior, standing defiantly against the storm, ready to face the chaos that looms ahead. I was the one who had clung to the fraying threads of this family, enduring years of sacrifice, my heart a battleground of unyielding devotion. And not a soul, not even the flesh of my flesh, had the audacity to take that from me. As the clock struck 7 p.m., a sudden, jarring knock echoed through the stillness of the night, shattering the calm and sending a shiver down the spine. I opened it to reveal Emily, a solitary figure, her fingers trembling around a small envelope, the weight of secrets hanging in the air. She appeared gaunt, a mere shadow of her former self, exhausted, as if the weight of the world rests heavily upon weary shoulders. Her eyes, puffy and red, told a tale of endless tears, as if the weight of sorrow had pressed upon her for an eternity. Not a single word escaped my lips. She advanced, her heart pounding like a drum, the air thick with tension as all eyes turned to her, waiting for the storm to break. "Please," she whispered, her voice trembling with desperation. "I beg for just 5 fleeting minutes, a mere whisper of time in this chaotic storm of existence." With a heart pounding like a drum, I paused, the weight of the moment pressing down on me. Then, with a swift motion, I flung the door wide open, inviting her into the storm of uncertainty that lay ahead. We sat at the dining table, a haunting reminder of countless family dinners that had once filled the air with laughter, now overshadowed by an oppressive silence, a chilling prelude to the betrayal that shattered our world. With a trembling hand, she thrust the envelope before me, a silent storm brewing in her eyes. Oh, how the weight of my actions hangs heavy in the air. I can feel the chasm of your unforgiving heart, a void that echoes with my regret. Forgiveness, a distant dream, forever out of reach, and I certainly do not anticipate that you will. But I was desperate for you to possess this. I gazed at her, the weight of unspoken words hanging in the air between us. What is this? What dark mystery lurks beneath the surface? What secrets are waiting to be unveiled? "Proof!" she exclaimed, her voice trembling with urgency. "Of all that is, and all that could be, the deceitful testament. The bank accounts, a web of secrets and untold fortunes, lurking in the shadows waiting to be unveiled. What lies beneath the surface? Who holds the keys to this financial labyrinth? The tension is palpable, the stakes are high, and the truth is just a heartbeat away." With a forceful shove, Greg compelled me to surrender to the chaos unfolding before us. I stood frozen, paralyzed by the weight of my own inaction, as he plunged forward into the abyss. I didn't stop him, and in that moment of silence, when the weight of my words could have shattered the stillness, I remained voiceless, paralyzed by the gravity of my own inaction. With trembling hands, I tore open the envelope, my heart racing as the secrets within threatened to spill forth and shatter my world. Within the confines of that ominous envelope lay a trove of secrets, printed bank records, whispering tales of transactions, screenshots of email conversations that crackled with tension, and a handwritten note, its ink, a testament to her very presence, signed with a flourish that could haunt the shadows. "I am cooperating with the investigation," she declared, her voice trembling with a mix of fear and defiance. "In a twist of fate that no one saw coming, Greg has been taken into custody. They uncovered a web of deceit, revealing the chilling truth of other accounts he had meticulously forged. Not merely yours." I gazed into her eyes, desperately seeking the truth hidden within their depths. Why? Oh, why? At this very moment? Because I didn't merely lose a house, she whispered, her voice trembling with the weight of unspeakable loss. I've lost you, and the world has crumbled around me. Tears surged forth, threatening to spill over, a tempest of emotion brewing within me. You told me I was just a widow, I whispered, my voice trembling with the weight of unspoken truths. It felt as though my very existence shattered the moment he took his last breath. I didn't mean it like that, she exclaimed, her voice trembling with urgency. Fury coursed through my veins, a tempest of fear swirling within me. Yet, it was a heartless act, and I shall carry this burden of regret until my dying breath. My gaze fell upon the papers, a tempest of emotions swirling within me. Then, she turned back to face her. I raised you better than this, I exclaimed, my voice trembling with disbelief and disappointment. I know, she whispered, her voice trembling with the weight of unspoken truths. In the heavy air, silence stretched on, thick and suffocating, as if the world itself held its breath, waiting for the storm to break. I'm not asking for anything, she declared, her voice trembling with unspoken intensity. All I ever desired was to unveil the truth, to lay bare the reality that lurked in the shadows, before the clock strikes its final hour. With a trembling heart, I extended my hand across the table, my fingers brushing against hers in a moment charged with unspoken tension. Her eyes flared open, a tempest of disbelief swirling within them. Forgiveness hangs in the balance, a fragile thread, and I find myself teetering on the edge. I don't know if I can forgive you yet, I declared, my voice trembling with the weight of unspoken emotions. Yet, this marks the beginning of an unforeseen journey. She nodded, her silent tears cascading down her cheeks like a torrential downpour, each drop a testament to her unspoken anguish. As she vanished into the distance, I remained frozen by the window, my heart pounding, eyes glued to her retreating figure, each step echoing the finality of her departure. Her head hung low, shrouded in an air of despair. Her steps faltered, each one a heavy echo in the silence that surrounded her. For the first time in weeks, a calmness washed over me, banishing the fury that had gripped my heart. Only despair lingers in the air, and perhaps, just perhaps, a flicker of hope. The following day, I found myself wandering through the cemetery, utterly alone, the weight of solitude pressing heavily upon my chest. Michael's grave lay in eerie silence, shrouded beneath the sprawling branches of the ancient oak, its leaves beginning to blush with the fiery hues of autumn's approach. I sank to my knees, trembling as I swept away the brittle leaves that clung to his headstone, a silent testament to the passage of time. I promised you I'd take care of it, didn't I? And I did. The weight of the moment hung heavy in the air, a decision that would echo through the corridors of fate. The world held its breath, waiting for the inevitable fallout of my choice. A sudden gust of wind tore through the air, sending the trees into a frantic dance, their leaves whispering secrets of turmoil and unrest. I don't know what's next, I whispered, my voice trembling with uncertainty, as the weight of the unknown loomed ominously around me. Yet, deep within, I am certain of my strength to confront it head-on. For an hour, I lingered, ensnared by the haunting whispers of the wind, the mournful cries of the birds, and the eerie stillness of a world that pressed on, oblivious to the turmoil within. As I stepped through the door, the weight of nostalgia crashed over me like a tidal wave. I brewed the tea, each movement steeped in memories, and settled onto the front porch, a haunting echo of the evenings Michael and I once shared, now a bittersweet reminder of what was lost. I swayed gently in the chair, my eyes fixated on the sun as it plunged beneath the hills, casting shadows of despair and longing. Through the shadows of betrayal, the haunting echoes of loss, and the chilling grip of abandonment, I had traversed a landscape of despair, and I emerged, unbreakable, from the ashes of despair. This had transformed into a realm of the living, where shadows once lingered now lay silent. It was a realm where truth reigned supreme, a stage set for revelations that would shatter illusions and ignite the very fabric of reality. A haunting realm of recollection. A realm that was once mine, now shrouded in echoes of the past. not merely as a widow, but as a fierce woman who defiantly refused to fade into the shadows. And in that moment, I understood this was the ultimate testament to resilience, the fiercest form of survival imaginable.